Have you ever been watching TV when something goes terribly wrong? Not a glitch, not a test pattern, but something no one expected, something not meant to be seen. Tonight, we're diving into one of the strangest broadcast intrusions in history, a story with no suspect, no motive, and no ending. He hijacked live television, he wore a mask, and he vanished without a trace. Before we begin, if you're drawn to true unsolved mysteries, stories that chill, confuse, and linger, subscribe to the Timeless File and join us every week as we uncover the weirdest corners of history. Now, turn off the lights, tune in, and prepare to see what the world wasn't supposed to. The night of the interruption. It was a quiet Sunday evening in Chicago, November 22, 1987. Across the city, televisions flickered with the usual static warmth of late-night programming. At precisely 9:14 p.m., WGN-TV was airing the sports segment of the local news until it wasn't. Without warning, the broadcast was hijacked. The screen glitched violently. Viewers were pulled from familiar programming into something surreal and deeply unsettling. A man appeared, his face obscured by a rubber mask of Max Headroom, a satirical ITV host from the 80s. Behind him was a wobbling sheet of metal, mimicking the signature Max Headroom background. But this wasn't comedy. This was something else. There was no sound, just the flickering static and the faceless figure swaying on screen. It lasted only a few seconds before the WGN engineers regained control, but those seconds would become legend. And the hijacker wasn't done. 2 hours later, at 11:15 p.m., the same figure struck again. This time during an episode of Doctor Who on WTTW, a PBS affiliate. The intrusion lasted longer, about 90 seconds, and came with sound. What followed was a string of distorted phrases, incomprehensible and mocking. The figure referenced Coca-Cola, WGN sportscaster, and even moaned bizarre gibberish. He waved a rubber glove, referenced nerds, and finally exposed his backside before being spanked by an unseen accomplice with a fleecewater. It was crude, creepy, and completely without context. The screen returned to normal, leaving no message, no demands, and no explanation. Just a mystery. The investigation that led nowhere. The incident sparked instant panic not just among viewers, but within federal agencies. Hijacking a television signal isn't a harmless prank. It's a federal offense. The FCC and FBI both launched investigations. WGN and WTTW worked with law enforcement to trace the origin of the signal, but the results, frustrating. In the 1980s, analog signals made it easier to override a local broadcast. All it took was a powerful transmitter and the right frequency. But knowing which to use, when, and how, that required serious expertise. Experts concluded the hijacker must have had insider-level technical knowledge, possibly someone who worked in broadcast or studied electronics in depth. Someone local, with access to gear that could temporarily overpower a licensed station. The FBI canvassed local university engineering departments, searched for similar prank attempts, even questioned individuals known for radio piracy. But no one talked, no one confessed. There were no fingerprints, no identifiable voices, no signatures. Theories flooded in. Some believed it was the work of rogue students from Northwestern or the Illinois Institute of Technology. Others proposed it was a protest, a digital art performance, mocking the growing control of media and corporations. One fringe theory claimed it was a foreign signal test, a proof of concept by another nation to expose vulnerabilities in American communication infrastructure. Another invoked conspiracy that the figure had stumbled onto a signal that wasn't supposed to exist, and used the moment to hide a message in plain sight. But in all the noise, no credible leads ever surfaced. This wasn't just a hijack, it was a vanishing act. Legacy, obsession, and the chilling silence. Decades passed. The Max Headroom incident faded from mainstream memory, but not for everyone. In online forums, Reddit threads, hacker conventions, and YouTube deep dives, the case became a cult obsession. Amateur sleuths dissected every frame of VHS footage, analyzed the sound quality, even traced the type of corrugated sheet used in the backdrop. Some believed clues were buried in the gibberish phrases. Others thought the spank scene had symbolic meaning. Many just wanted to know one thing: who is behind the mask? Despite the lack of answers, the case's impact remains powerful. It forced TV stations to reevaluate broadcast security. It sparked conversations about media vulnerability and signal freedom long before the internet era. More than that, it left a chilling legacy. Most crimes want something: money, attention, control. But this was pure disruption. A glitch in the system, a voice in the static. And perhaps that's why it still haunts us. Because the person behind the Max Headroom mask never came forward. Not for fame, not for credit, not even years later when no prosecution was likely. He or they simply disappeared. And that's what makes it terrifying. This wasn't someone seeking glory. This was someone showing us that control is an illusion, and the signal can always be broken. In a world of noise, they left us with silence. So if you're still watching, still wondering, subscribe to the Timeless File, because history hides its weirdest truths beneath static and shadows. And sometimes, the strangest stories are the real ones.